Every year on June 19th, thousands of African Americans across the country celebrate Juneteenth, the oldest and largest celebration of American slave emancipation in the U.S. So in honor of Juneteenth, here's a quick history lesson on the important day. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed into law January 1st, 1863, but as you might imagine, the implementation took a little longer. Like many southern states, Texas did not comply with Lincoln's order, so slavery continued. It kept going for almost 2.5 years after the signing. The reason for the delay has become sort of an urban legend. Juneteenth.com writes, often told is the story of a messenger who was murdered on his way to Texas. Another is that the news was deliberately withheld by the enslavers, and still another is that federal troops actually waited for the slave owners to reap the benefits of one last cotton harvest. Whatever the explanation, it was June 19, 1865 when the message finally made its way to the shores of Galveston, Texas, making Texas the last state to hear the news. Union Army General Gordon Granger arrived with 2,000 soldiers to deliver the news to enslaved blacks. The general made his announcement from the balcony of this villa, telling the crowd, in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. And with that, Juneteenth was born. African Americans in Texas have been celebrating ever since, with festivals, barbecues, prayer services, and more. In the years after the original announcement, African Americans across the state pulled together the little money they had to buy land to accommodate their Juneteenth celebrations. In Houston, there's Emancipation Park, where Juneteenth has been celebrated for 141 years.
4 African-American men, just 7 years out of slavery, put together their nickels and dimes to purchase this 10 acres of land.
Juneteenth is recognized as a holiday by 42 of the 50 states, but is not a nationally recognized day of observance. A writer for the Chronicle explains why it should be. If there is an American holiday that celebrates freedom in its purest form, that is today, Juneteenth. It is a day that marks the elevation of property to person and recognizes the moment when our nation herself could honestly aspire to be a land of the free. And now that you know the history, happy Juneteenth, everybody. For Newsy, I'm Jamal Andrews.